Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam reading. So we are going to read from Canto 3, Chapter 6, 32, the verse. Before starting this Srimad Bhagavatam, let me offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Graces, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, begging for His mercy to be able to speak on this subject matter and begging the blessings of all my listeners. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Chinamani Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Visesa Sunyavadi Pasachada Satanine Jasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadara Shivasari Gauda Bhakta Vrinda He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Jinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhaka Anta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangira De Vrindavaneshari Vrishabhana Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhisya Kripa Sindhu Bhiyeva Chapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, Text 32, talks between Maitreya and Vidura. Viśo vartanta tasyorvor, loka-vṛttikarīr vibhoḥ, vaiśyas tad-udbhavo vārtām, nṛṇāṁ samavartayat. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Viśaḥ means of living by production and distribution. Avartanta, generated. Tasya, his, the gigantic forms. Ūrvoḥ, from the tides. Loka-vṛttikarīr, means of livelihood. Vibhoḥ, of the Lord. Vaiśyas, the mercantile community. tad-udbhavo, orientation. Vartām, means of living. nṛṇāṁ, of all men. Viśaḥ, one who. Samavartayat, executed. Translation: the means of livelihood of all persons, namely production of grains and their distribution to the prajās, was generated from the tides of the Lord's gigantic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such execution are called vaiśyas. Again the verse: the means of livelihood of all persons, namely production of grains and their distribution to the prajās. Prajās are the living beings. Was generated from the tides of the Lord's gigantic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such execution are called vaiśyas. So to be situated in the verse, so Maitreya is talking with Vidura regarding the creation of this material world, the creation of different elements of this world. So how the viśo came about. The viśo is the Supreme Lord, Rupa, the form. The viśo, how He manifested all this material world. First there was nothing, and the Lord, with His glance, He glances on the pradana, the material nature, and through different interactions, so everything starts to be manifested, like the air, sound, touch, thought, and everything, evacuation, breathing, everything was emanated from the Lord after different manifestations and interactions. So now here it's Maitreya is explaining how from the tides of this viśo came about the vaiśyas. So Varna and Dharma, we're going to talk a little about that. Let's first read the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, human society's means of living is clearly mentioned here as viśaḥ, or agriculture, and the business of distributing agricultural products, which involves transport, banking, etc. So here Prabhupada starts his purport saying that human society's means of living is mentioned as viśaḥ, or agriculture. So we cannot eat from all these industrial creations, the nails and so on, different things that are created by man artificially. So actually society, they subsist from grains. So society should be attentive in supporting agricultural activities. So Prabhupada is going to explain here. Industry is an artificial means of livelihood. And large-scale industry especially is the source of all the problems of society. Actually, the world were living much better 100 years ago, 150 years ago, because there was not this industrial era. So the industrial era is destroying the planet, is destroying the qualifications of man. So when society is based in agriculture, when society is based in religion, when society is based in protection of cows, then society can have a much better results. Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita also the duties of the vaiśyas. Vaiśyas, they are the mercantile class who are engaged in viśaḥ, in agriculture, are stated as cow protection, agriculture, and business. We have already discussed that the human being can safely depend on the cow and agricultural land for his livelihood. So Prabhupada, he explains very extensively all over his purports the importance of cow protection and the Brahminical culture. So without cow protection, without protection to the Brahminical culture, society cannot act healthily. We cannot have a health society without protection of cows and protection of the Brahminical culture. Brahminical culture is the protection of culture of religion, to protect those who are religious. So the cow is the mother of society. It says there are 7 different kinds of mothers. There is our original mother, seminal mother. There is the earth is a mother. The wife of Guru is a mother. So it doesn't come the word right now, but the stepmother. The stepmother is a second mother. She's a mother. And the cow, it's a mother. She's a mother because she gives us milk in our infant. When we are a child, the cows give us milk. And the cow is so kind that she is always ready to give milk to anyone that goes after her. I heard a story, a real story, that a tigress, she grew up drinking the milk of a cow. So when this tigress was seeing the cow as her mother, and actually the cow was her mother. So we can hear and see and observe in nature how the cow is so kind, so kind. And the bull is just plowing the field so we can plant our crops. So protection of the cows, the bulls, are essential in society because they are like mothers. So people, they have this wrong idea that the Hindus, they worship the cow. It's not just worshiping the cow no. You worship your mother, you have love for your mother, you understand the importance of your mother. This is the worshiping of the cow. Worshipping the cow is to recognize that the cow is our second mother, and she's the mother of all living entities. She's always giving us so much comfort. And not only that, everything from the cow is pure. It's proved by by the science that the urine of the cow can cure cancer. The waste of the cow can be used as a fire. Everything from the cow can be used. So it's very important to protect cows. But nowadays, this society which is based in this agriculture era is just thinking about killing the cows, opening all the houses everywhere. The culture of killing the cows. They see cows as an element. They see cows as a food. So which is completely wrong. The cow is just our pet that can be loved, that has feelings and can give so much to us. So therefore cow protection is very essential for human society and Brahminical culture. Prabhupada says, the exchange of produce by banking and transportation is a branch of this type of living. The vaiśyas are divided into many subsections. Some of them are called kshetri, or landowners. So please forgive my broken English today. It's been difficult for me to find the right words. And so kshetri, or landowners. Some are called Krishna, or land tires. Some of them are called tilavanik, or grain raisers. Some are called gandavanik, or merchants in spice. And some are called suvarnavanik, or merchants in gold and banking. Actually, Prabhupada, he came from this suvarnavanik. They used to be merchants in gold and banking. The Brahmanas are the teachers and the spiritual masters. The Kshatriyas are the is the administrative class, the warriors, the protectors. The kshatriyas protect the citizens from the hands of thieves and miscreants. The vaiśyas are in charge of production and distribution. The shudras, the unintelligent class of men who cannot act independently in any of the above-mentioned activities, are meant for serving the three higher classes for their livelihoods. Formerly, the brahmanas were given all the necessities of life by the kshatriyas and vaiśyas because they had no time to spend making a living. The kshatriyas would collect taxes from the vaiśyas and shudras, but the brahmanas were exempt from paying income tax or land revenue. That system of human society was so nice that there were no political, social, and economic upheavals. The different castes or Varna classifications are therefore essential for maintaining a peaceful human society. So actually this Varnashram, different castes, it's a system that was created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. So it's a perfect system for the union of society, for the upliftment of society. It says in Bhagavad Gita, in the chapter 4, text 13, Chaturvarnya maya sristam guna kama vibhagasaha. Tasya kartaram apimam vidi akartaram avyayam. That this Chaturvarnya maya system, this Chaturvarnya, these four divisions of society, Maya by me, Sristam was created by me. So therefore Krishna created the system of Varna and Ashram. Varna, Ashram, they are divisions of society. Varna are different social occupations, like the head of the occupation is the Brahmana class, the Brahminical class. They are like the head because they are the ones who can think. They can think because they are knowledgeable. They have knowledge from the Vedas. Brahmanas, they have knowledge from Brahman. They have knowledge of the spirit. They have knowledge of who God is. And they can teach society how to behave, how to act in God consciousness. For this reason, protection of the Brahminical culture is essential, because what we need in society is to hear from qualified teachers, qualified brahmanas, qualified priests, who are realized in self-realization. They are realized in the knowledge of God, in the knowledge of the scriptures. They can give us God. So the brahmanas, they are the spiritual master, the natural spiritual masters of society, and they are pure. The brahmanas, they are completely pure, religious, austere, charitable. They have all good qualifications, and because for this reason they are considered to be the head of society, because they are the thoughtful section of the society, brahmanas. And then come the kshatriyas, which are compared to the arms. If you fall down, the first thing you're going to do with your arms, you're going to protect yourself. If somebody tries to beat you with your arm, you try to protect yourself. So the arms are like the protection of the body. So it's essential as well to have kshatriyas, pure kshatriyas in the society, who can protect society. protect society from thieves, from ruffians. But nowadays, society is protected by who? By the insurance companies. So the insurance companies are making a big money on us, and they are trying to protect us, or they say they are protecting us, but actually you have no protection. So in the Vedic culture, the king who was a kshatriya was so powerful that he would kill anyone who was against the rules of society, who was against the rules of order in society. So even at the time of Parikshit Maharaj, so Parikshit Maharaj described in Srimad Bhagavatam how a Shudra was beating a cow, was chastising a cow. And immediately this Parikshit Maharaj, he chastised this Shudra and sent him away. Actually gave him a place where he could live, but he could not act in sinful acts, sinful activities. So kshatriyas, they are meant to protect society. But nowadays we see the kshatriyas, which are the policemen, they are always bribed to get benefits, and they do not protect society. And the vaiśyas we are talking about then here, the vaiśyas, they are considered like the stomach of the body. So when you eat through your mouth, and the mouth sends the food to the stomach, and that food, the energy is sent all over the body, all over the body. So it's impossible to have a healthy life without giving food to our stomach. So it's necessary. So in some way, the vaiśyas are those who produce. They produce aliments, they produce food and distribute food all over society. And they are very charitable by nature. They always see the welfare of the living entities. As Prabhupada explained here, the kshatriyas and vaiśyas, they used to provide everything to the brahmanas who are the priests, the brahmanas who are the spiritual masters of society. They used not to work, they just used to teach. So nowadays we see so-called brahmanas, actually they are called brahmabandhus. They are not real brahmanas, but they charge for their service, they charge for preaching, they charge for this, they charge for that. A brahmana was completely dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in the hearts of all living entities, would inspire them to feed the brahmanas, to protect the brahmanas. So, but society today is completely upside down, completely upside down. So vaiśyas, there are no vaiśyas, they are just want to exploit society. And the Shudras are considered like the legs, the foot of the living entity in the body. Because the legs, they can support the body. The Shudras is the class, they have no intelligence to perform different works. They have not the strength to be a kshatriya, a protector. They have no intelligence to understand shastra, transcendental knowledge. They have no intelligence to produce. And then they serve. They serve the other classes. They serve the brahmanas, they serve the kshatriyas, they serve the vaiśyas. And they are very important in the society. Like the body, all over our body is very important. There is You cannot say that this is better than the other. No? We can say that the head is superior because the head can think. Without head you cannot live. Or without leg you can live. Without arms you can live, but not without head. So it's very important to understand that the body, as a conjunct, the body is important in society. And society should have this body functioning perfectly. We have to have brahmanas, we have to have shudras, we have to have vaiśyas, kshatriyas. It's not that the leg is not so important as the arm. So all are important because they are all in the system created by God. Chaturvarna maya shristam, the system of Varna and Dharma was created by me. So this is the perfection of society. So society was created this way, so society can progress naturally. But unfortunately, nowadays society are not being following the system of Varna and Dharma. Even in spiritual societies, even in Hare Krishna society, we still are not understanding what's real varnashram. We don't see in our community farms that they are really dedicating themselves to agriculture, to the cow protection, to the protection of the brahmanas. Unfortunately, by our shortcomings, we don't understand and we don't realize that God is providing everything. He's giving everything to everybody. But we think that we have to, by our own efforts, we have to obtain our food, this and that. We are always afraid that we're not going to eat, we are not going to dress ourselves, we're not going to take care of our family, and then we do so many artificial works. And the brahmanas are not teaching society because they are worried about their well-being, about their sustenance, about how can I maintain my body. But a person who is a real devotee of God, of Krishna, is completely dependent on Krishna. He's dependent on Krishna and he has faith. He understands that Krishna is the only one who can provide. Even Jesus Christ, he used to preach like that. He said something, look the birds in the sky. They are not planting, they are not collecting food, but they are living. So if you have sacks, bags of rice on the street, the men will come and try to grab everything. But the birds, they don't try to grab the bags of rice. No, they are just flying. When they are hungry, they just go and pick some seed and some fruit and eat. And that's it. They are completely confident in God's protection. And he says, look, the lilies in the field, the flowers in the field, they are dressing them so beautifully. Not even Solomon, in his glory, he dressed like that. Something like that the Christian says, the Bible says. So, and Jesus Christ as well, he said that the Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd, I will not be in want. So, but it's very difficult. We see even devotees who are in the renounced order of life so much worried about their sustenance. This you can observe. just trying to make money here and there, and they are not depending on the mercy of the Lord. So it's very important to understand Varna ashram. It's very important to establish Varnashram Dharma in society. So thank you very much for listening to this class. I'm going to read again the verse. Canto 3, Chapter 6, Text 32. Viśo vartanta tasyorvor loka-vṛttikarīr vibhoḥ vaiśyas tad-udbhavo vartām nṛṇāṁ samavartayat. The means of livelihood of all persons, namely production of grains and their distribution to the prajās, was generated from the tithes of the Lord's gigantic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such execution are called vaiśyas. Thank you again and again. Sorry for my broken English. Somehow today was very difficult to find the words, but we are here as much as we can, giving this transcendental knowledge. As the birds, they can fly in different altitude or different heights, so we can fly according to our realization, whatever we realize in Krishna consciousness. I hope you had something good from here today, and Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.